Salut YouTube!
Hi!
Guess what? I've got a Frenchie with me. I'm with Celine from the podcast Untitled Chapter. We've actually just done a podcast episode together, which I'll link in the description box down below. But I really wanted to take the opportunity to chat to her because she's a Frenchie living in Australia.
I'm Celine, I'm 34. I was born and raised in Paris, well, just outside Paris. And it's always been my dream of moving to Australia, Sydney. And it took me a while to make this dream come true, but I did 2.5 years ago.
And I found this really interesting to talk about maybe sort of the other side of the culture shocks. Like, what was it like moving there? What was your first impression when you got off the plane? Like, your first weeks, do you remember how you felt? What that was like for you?
First impressions, a funny one was queuing to get on the bus. You know how Parisians are. You just have to fight for your life, you know. I had to queue and once or twice I think, like, as a reflex, I was like, oh, you know what, I'll just walk and continue towards the door. And a few people told me, like, it's over there. And I was like, I felt so ashamed.
Oh my gosh, we do this all the time in New Zealand. We're like, oh, the queue that you're looking for, it's that way. Like,
yeah, exactly. Other than that, people being like the waiter and waitresses, like being way too happy, way too enthusiastic. What can I get you today? Okay, so we have this and that, and then you order and they're like, amazing, not a problem, I'll be here in a second.
Great choice.
Too much, stop it. And just another quick example on when you're at the restaurant or at a bar or something like that was really a shock for me. As soon as you're finished in your plate, as you're even still chewing, they take the plate away. Or you drink. How many times I had still, like, you know, the bottom of my glass. Yeah. And, you know, just with the ice cubes. And I just love keeping my glass. And you just literally look the other way, your glass is gone. For me, it says, okay, now you're done, go. Like, we need the table. Whereas in France, you have something and you just stay for hours. You know, it's just I guess the French way of doing things, you know, the art de vivre. We're just enjoying this food or drinking time, and don't ruin that for us. And sometimes I said that to some of them at the beginning, and they were like, no, but it's just for you to be more comfortable. This way you have a clear table in front of you. I'm like, no, it doesn't make me comfortable.
No, it makes you uncomfortable, like it's time to leave now.
And also the timings are really not the same.
Oh, yeah?
Like, everyone is up at like 5. It's completely normal. Also because the sun rises earlier, but still. And you can't go out at night. This was one of the first shocks. Like, okay, let's go out. Oh, it's 9 p.m., like a normal time to go to the restaurant in France. Yeah. You know, and you're like, oh, kitchen's closed. And I'm like, what? One of the shocks when I arrived was the clothing style. Okay. For a month, I couldn't find anything to buy in the clothes shops. I was like, oh my God, bring me back all my French brands. I'm like, but this is patterns and shapes, and it's never too much. Also the classic activewear, like everyone wearing activewear. Well, girls, but guys as well. But honestly, sometimes I do. I'm like, you know what? A nice sports legging, like
do you feel bad?
Sneakers.
Do you feel like, I can't believe I'm going out in this?
At first I haven't done this many times, but a few times I was like, and I'm like, I don't want to dress up. I'm like, okay, let's go out. And then I'm like, okay, well, this is normal. Yeah. But it was weird a little bit.
Are they wearing activewear because do you find them more sporty people?
Yeah, of course. Of course. So people, they wake up at 5. They put their activewear on. They go running. Yeah, okay. And definitely. But you see people wearing activewear at 3 in the afternoon just because that's their outfit for the day. What was quite shocking is how girls get all dolled up to go out. Yes. For us, French is like, is she really going to go out like that? Like, all boobs outside, very, very, very short dresses and very high heels and too much makeup, and they go out like that, and it looks like they're they're going to shoot a video clip, you know? It's like, it's not real life. For me, it was always like, oh my God. And then, and I'm sorry, I became too prude growing older, but even the way they dance and how guys like in the clubs are dancing with them, it's really like,
oh yeah,
it's going too far. Like the whole concept of dating actually is really not French. Although this past years it came in, you know, I guess globalization.
Yeah.
But it's just, I often say that to my Aussie friends. It's like in France, you know, when you kiss someone, you're with this person. It doesn't mean you're together forever, but your boyfriend, girlfriend. Whereas in Australia, like I think in the US or New Zealand, it's like, well, I'm dating.
It was just a hookup.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe tomorrow it will be another guy.
It's interesting because the cliche about French people is that they're the ones who are trying all different types of people and going around. They can't stay monogamous and stuff, but actually, no. And when you moved to Australia, I'm curious because I've got a little bit of a reverse culture shock cliche about us, about Australians, New Zealanders. Did you have to kind of change the topics of conversation that you talked about with people? Because we're not really into politics in the same way that French people are, and big cultural debates and that kind of thing.
It really depends, to be honest. In the workplace, I met a lot of very interesting people, Australians or not. And I feel like I've had the same conversations as I would have with people here. But in general, yes, it's true that we're people are less debating. Yes. I'm always asking, but why are you thinking that? But don't you think that blah, 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 blah. And it's true that I realized after a while that it was a very, very French thing to do.
To be challenging with people.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah,
and just we love debating. People have told me, you're so French, like debating all the time. Like, of course you would debate the way like the plate is put in.
Yeah, you
because
can never just accept it. It always has to be.
But it's not about being critical. It's just about having an opinion. Yeah. And it's true that, I don't know, something can always be improved or
Did you find that in the Australian workplace then that people gave compliments a little bit too often for your liking?
Yeah, well, for everyone is so positive, which is a great thing. Now I really like it because, and also being back, I'm like, I can feel back now the negativism of French. But everything is always, great, amazing. Yeah, let's go, let's do it. Being very in the when we're very in the challenge. Like, no. We would usually be like, no, but explain. Okay, why not? And if you do this, that. Whereas, in the workplace, I've had people saying like, let's try and do this. And other people being like, okay, let's go for it.
And you're like, no one's thinking this through.
Exactly. And I'm like, but did they think about all the risks? And if we do this, because I'm doing all the
why it won't work.
Exactly. But actually, I think it's a good thing because things are moving and people are in a positive state of mind, and I think it's great. Whereas it's true that in France, when you bring an idea in the workplace, you're like, okay, I really have to have all of my points like as to why it's a great idea because I'll be challenged. Yeah. And actually, it's very relaxing. I think even for a French person, I'm very honest and I can be quite blunt. And I've had so many people telling me, like over there, like too blunt, too direct, too rude. You have to tiptoe your way a lot. You have to be, so it was great and that was a great idea and this and that. But don't you think that maybe we could do more? Like, what do you think about doing this way? Whereas in France, we'll be like, okay, but no, I don't think it's working. Can we find something else? You know, but it's a shock. But actually, I think I prefer now things being sugar-coated a little bit. I think it's balance. You know, not too much. Amazing, it's great, you've done a great job, but it sucks. And not too much, it sucks. Just find
in between
the balance.
After living in Australia for a while, I mean, what do you feel like you've learnt from this country?
Oh wow, I've changed a lot. I'm way more relaxed, like no worries, mate. I learned to be positive more. I learned to be, I learned to be more in that person when, hi, how are you? You know, like clothes shops, hi, how are you? Before I was like, hi. Now I'm like, hi, I'm good, and you, blah blah blah, and actually, like it makes you feel so much better. You know, it makes you feel good. So I like that.
And what about just general approach to your lifestyle, everyday life? How is that different in Australia compared to?
One of the main great things about Australia and Sydney, because this is where I live, is for me it's such a safe city. Like, you know, being a Parisian, like you just hold on to your bag all the time. You're always checking your pockets because, like, you know, I had so many rules, so many reflex on what you should do. Like, for example, in Paris, if you travel to Paris, never enter in the metro with your phone in your hand, because this is where a pickpocket will grab it and the doors will close.
And they are quick.
Exactly. And I mean, Sydney, I'm with a backpack and I'm never worried. You know, in Sydney, you can leave your phone, you can leave your wallet on the table, go to the bathroom, come back. It's still here. It's amazing. And it's such a relief, and I feel so much more relaxed, and I feel safe. It's a Latin way of thinking. How can I screw this person? It's sad to say, but it's just like, oh, there's this. Oh yeah, but I could grab this at the same time. You know, like, it's so easy to steal. Why not? Or it's so easy to go around the rules.
Yes, that's
you know.
it.
And as a girl, and as I said, you can wear like short things and it's okay, and no one is ever coming to talk to you. Talk to you. Yes, people are talking to you. But no street harassment or anything. And even guys who sometimes want to make a move on you in the streets, they're so friendly. I've had guys like being a little bit tipsy and getting out of a bar and going to another bar, and we're meeting at the traffic light, and they're like, hey, how are you? Do you want to come with us to have a drink?
Yeah.
In Paris, if someone says that to me, I'm like, go away.
It's the way they say it. I'm not creepy and scary.
Exactly.
Which is what you can find in Paris for sure.
People are genuine. This is really what I love. I'm not saying, of course, there are not only genuine people in Australia, and there's no rape and there's no murder in Australia, but honestly, like, really, no, on a day-to-day basis, it's so relaxing to know that you can trust people. There is a big sense of community as well. Like, people are just happy to help, they're happy. Full stop.
Surely there must be some things that you really miss about France, all the same. Tell us, what are they?
Yeah, well, can I be more cliche in saying food? The French summer. I miss French summer because, you know, the sun setting at 10 p.m. Like, even in summer in Australia, it's 8:30, and you know, the long evening. Yeah, you know, the times, like, you know, shops being open later. I do miss that.
It was so fun. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I love hearing about the reverse experience of French people living abroad. Of course, it doesn't surprise me that the thing that they miss the most is food.
Yeah. Cliche.
That's it for now. Until the next video. See you guys next time. A bientôt.
Bye.